This is Hannibal here from thehannibaltv.com with a daily wrestling news update. Smackdown drew the lowest rating ever on Fox last night, zero point 0.4. And it's no wonder Kevin Owens was in a feature match against Sami Zayn. I keep saying it. He's very often, more often than not, one of the feature matches on these record low shows, and he's definitely a channel changer. Zelina Vega also returned on SmackDown. For anyone, I didn't even hear of her until she was fired last year, but I guess she was released last year related to having issues with WWE cracking down on third-party accounts, and she had a Twitch account and only fan account that she wanted to keep active. And of course, once you're not in WWE, your third-party accounts aren't worth as much because you're not getting the publicity from WWE. So that may or may not be one of the reasons why she came back. After she was released last year, she tweeted out, quote, "I support unionization," end quote. And she had also said she spoke with the SAG, Screen Actors Guild union, which is the union related to the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, about her experience. And apparently she's now deleted that tweet saying she supports unionization. And I've said it before, unionization would be bad for the wrestling business. It would make it much more difficult to release wrestlers that are stale or not getting over or lazy. And unlike acting, where there's literally thousands of jobs, in wrestling, let's face the facts, other than AEW and WWE, there's very few places in North America where you can make a real decent living. So there's not that many jobs. So you really need that high turnover because it's hard enough to get those jobs. And if people aren't getting over, they should really give other people more opportunities to get over that are more deserving. Apparently, AEW is doing better for ticket sales in some markets than WWE for the return to live events, which is going to start taking place this month. Happy 4th of July, by the way, to the American viewers, as I do have mostly American viewers on this channel. Marvin tips me $5. Thank you. I put these tips towards getting interviews like the one I had with Boris Zukov today, former WWE, Jim Crockett Promotions, AWA, world-class star. Really great guy. I enjoyed that interview. What about says hi there? Trevor C brings up the double standard that Sami Zayn had. Of course, apparently WWE superstars don't have to go through the same quarantine restrictions as the rest of us do here in Canada, which I don't even want to get into again. It sucks. In my province here, we're still under lockdown. So it's just brutal. I didn't celebrate Canada Day because I'm embarrassed to be a Canadian. Our leaders of this country have really made it a miserable place to live. Victor Murphy says, what's up? He enjoyed the Terry Funk clip. Me beating up Terry Funk. He watched it on Facebook. We do stream a lot of videos on Facebook, and this is streaming on our The Hannibal TV Facebook page right now. For anyone that wants to follow us on Facebook, we do have ad-free streams. Paulie believes WWE sucks. Jeff Hoover is a Great North Wrestling fan. I hope that we can return sooner than later, but it's not looking good for this year. But I'm trying to find ways around it. Jesse Ventura would disagree with my union belief. Well, actually, I don't. He may be for unions, but it would be a bad thing in wrestling. I can tell you that right now. There's already a bunch of people that should be fired from WWE, and there should be more. I can name you 50 wrestlers off the top of my head that are more deserving than some of the people in WWE that are probably never going to get their shot. And if you have unions, there's going to be more undeserving people stuck in those positions. And I've had jobs with unions, and trust me, the unions don't always help. Some of the time, you're better just hiring your own lawyer to deal with matters than going through unions, because there's a lot of corrupt unions out there too, and there's a lot of unions that are actually in bed with the businesses. So yeah, I'm definitely not for unions in wrestling. Am I going to do an Ahmed Johnson interview? If someone can track him down for me, sure. What's my take on Impact? It sucks. It's a horrible product. It's worse now than it was when Dixie Carter was running it. How about a YouTube playlist on how GNW ran through Texas? Well, the Blood Hunter, one of Great North Wrestling's stars, he's actually the Great North Wrestling heavyweight champion right now. He destroyed all competition in Texas, and he's going to be back in Texas for world-class pro wrestling, as well as the Bruiser Brody Cup taking place November 5th and 6th in Carthage, Texas, just to give that great event a plug. I'm retired, Paulie. I have no interest in wrestling. I'm happy enough doing this. Ring of Honor and AEW, I would not be happy in either of those companies. Ring of Honor is crap, and AEW is not somewhere where I'd be happy, even though they pay well. I'd be miserable there. Coach will donate $20 if I could interview Sunshine. I don't know where she is, but I'd be open to interviewing her. Roland says Bailey is overrated, and he believes she absolutely sucks. I can't say I've ever seen Bailey wrestle. Dell Jr. says they really need to get live crowd in WWE. Well, they've had it for NXT for a while now. I think they almost prefer the Thunderdome because they pipe in their own boos and cheers so they can control the crowd noise. And for instance, like people that aren't over, they can make it seem like they're over. Who knows? But the Thunderdome and the fake crowd noise really sucks. Will there ever be a Blood Hunter versus one of the Von Erichs? I could see that happening in world-class pro wrestling. The Von Erichs wrestle there, and the Blood Hunters wrestling for them now when they do their relaunch in the fall. So I could see that happening. Chris, will we see Blood Hunter against Big Cass sometime? Well, I don't see why not. They're both independent contractors. I know Cass is under contract with Impact, but those Impact contracts allow their wrestlers to work for other companies. So if somebody were to book that match, I could see it happening, maybe even in Great North Wrestling in the future, because I know the fans wanted to see that. Despite the fans wanting to see that, one company blew it, and they've been in the shitter for a while now. But it could happen in another company. Just Josh. Don't know what he's talking about. Paulie says I retired too young. Well, I'm still in the business. I actually started in July 2001. So this is actually my 20 years in the wrestling business. I'm just a reporter now. Thomas, what do I think of Mid-South Wrestling? It's one of my favorite territories, along with Stampede Wrestling and World Class Pro Wrestling. And Paulie brings up that it's great. The Howling Madness wants to see a Mark Lewin shoot interview. He lives in Singapore now. Kevin Sullivan stays in contact with Mark Lewin, and I am friends with Kevin. And I did tell Kevin if he ever comes back to the States to let me know. Interview Jim Crockett. I don't know him, but I'd be open to it. Harris was watching the WWE Network, and they were showing SmackDown from 8 years ago, and it was the same wrestlers with the same stipulations. Everything is played out. Well, it's also bad booking. For instance, I was just talking about Kevin Sullivan. There's a guy that they should be hiring to write for WWE instead of the shitty writers they have these days. Jeff says nobody in the ring could shoot with the Blood Hunter. I agree. There's a reason why he's my favorite wrestler. Somebody says greetings from Macedonia. I don't even know where that is, but greetings to you. What about Memphis wrestling? I'm impressed with the success of Memphis wrestling, but I'm not really a fan of that style of wrestling. Sam mentions Edge isn't a draw related to that SmackDown rating too. He was the big star of SmackDown. I agree. They paid Edge a huge amount of money, and he hasn't popped a rating. And I like Edge. Anytime I've met him in person, which I'm sure he doesn't even remember, but when I was an extra a bunch of times in WWE, I met Edge, and he was really nice and down to earth, but he's just not a draw. Roland tips me $10. Thank you, Roland. Says Bayley's finishing move was a weak belly-to-belly suplex for years before she changed it. Shane Douglas's belly-to-belly was justifiable in ECW because he destroyed opponents before hitting the move. Very interesting. The real question is, will Shane Douglas be able to belly-to-belly the Blood Hunter when they face off, which is going to happen before the end of the year? Chris, how about a Magnum TA interview? There is a Magnum TA interview on here. Search Magnum TA, the Hannibal TV. As for Iceman Parsons, I understand we're doing the world-class World-Class Pro Wrestling Podcast every Thursday now on this channel and the World-Class Pro Wrestling channel. And Iceman is going to be a guest on it in the near future. We had Stephan Bonner on this week, Eric Embry last week, and Eric Embry is going to be involved in the world-class relaunch. Andrew, Blood Hunter has wrestled Sabu twice. He wrestled him in both PCW Ultra as well as in another company, and you could search that up on the Hannibal TV. And they were tough matches, but the Blood Hunter managed to win. He did give Blood Hunter a concussion the last time they met, though. So hope everyone has a great 4th of July weekend. I'm out of here.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free